Little Calaveras, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jinx, and if you're returning, welcome back. Alrighty, so today we have a story about one of my favorite subjects, black-eyed children. So if you're ready to hear this creepy tale, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the story together. Ever since I had an experience with a child who had black eyes, and learning that my father had a similar experience, I've been sporadically pursuing information on black-eyed children, reading weird stories and asking people I know if they've had any stories to tell. The answer is almost always no, and I don't think I ever really expected it to be yes. I'm just surprised that this is even a thing. I mean, black-eyed children is a Wikipedia page. I had no clue that this kind of story is a more than once occurrence, and that there are patterns to these experiences. In any case, I would not be writing if I didn't have some sort of strange new tale to tell. And this time, it comes from my Aunt Polly. My aunt lives alone. She once had a son with a man she was not married to, but he died months after being born. Polly lives by herself up on the hills, tucked in the trees. I've been to her house lots of times because she lives so close. I'm sure she gets lonely, so I see her from time to time. Polly always struck me as kind of kooky, which is totally fine. She talks to her pet cat a lot, watches weird TV shows, and she talks sometimes about how she goes to see mystics and fortune tellers. But I figured most of what she does is out of boredom. She's in her 40s and probably has to make her own fun sometimes. Recently, we invited her to dinner because I'm going back to college soon. I haven't seen her for a while, not since my own little weird incident. And while eating, I considered bringing it up. I knew it would be weird, but I was interested to see if Polly had dealt with anything like this in her life, and it wasn't out of the question. My dad had a run-in with a black-eyed child after all. Something weird happened to me recently, I said. My mom, who also knows about what happened, and my dad gave me looks, like they were unsure if that's the kind of thing they wanted to be discussing at dinner. They both knew what I was getting at. I told Aunt Polly the whole story, and she was silent through all of it. She just chewed thoughtfully. I still don't even know what was with that kid, I finished. That's certainly pretty spooky, she remarked. And that seemed to be the end of that. But she appeared a little bit estranged. After dinner, she told me her story. Mom went to do the dishes. Dad went upstairs to do work stuff on the computer. And I sat with Polly to watch TV. I have a story like that, she said. I looked over to where she was sitting and realized she wasn't paying attention to Jeopardy. She was looking at me, and had been for who knows how long. You do? Yes, it happened a while ago. I never really told anybody because I didn't know what to make of it. This is what Aunt Polly said happened. It was early November, and she was up late watching a movie with her cat, Chelsea. Chelsea is fat and snuggles people like she's a lapdog. So when Chelsea's hair stood up and she suddenly slinked off Aunt Polly's lap, Polly didn't know what to think. I had fed her, and she was acting the same as always. She just got up and left all of a sudden, looking like I'd offended her or something. Polly remained on the couch for several minutes until she heard mewing coming from the laundry room. She found Chelsea in between the washer and dryer, shaking miserably and refusing to come out. Polly's arm was reaching into the gap to try to fetch Chelsea when there were several knocks on her door. Halloween was a couple nights before, so I thought maybe it was a few people trick-or-treating. I don't know. I just grabbed the bowl of candy and went to the door. She opened it wide and was met with two children, a boy and a girl. "Happy Halloween," she said, but the kids weren't dressed up or holding buckets or anything. They both just stood there, looking into her house. The girl was shifting uneasily, peering around me and sizing up my house, she said. I asked if they were okay. "Did the cat go away?" the boy asked, lilting his voice. Polly said it sounded fake and wrong. "Excuse me?" "There aren't any others around here," the boy said, to no one in particular. And then he smiled. "Telephone?" At this point, Polly was kind of scared. She asked if they needed to use her phone. "We need to make a call." Polly was about to go inside and call somebody when the girl, who still hadn't spoken a word, tugged at her pants. She stooped to her level and spoke quietly into her ear. She sounded absolutely terrified. "We need to go inside, Polly." Polly froze, and the young boy turned to stare into her eyes and grinned unrealistically and almost unnaturally. Polly said his eyes were undoubtedly completely black. Polly stood, went inside, and shut the door very quickly. She locked it up and secured the rest of the house as pounding sounded from her foyer. Someone was frantically drumming on her door and yelling, and Polly said the voice was neither the girl's nor the boy's. She called the cops, who arrived almost a half an hour later. All they found were footprints that led into the forest behind Polly's house, and they chalked it up to a freak occurrence and said that they would check with people in the neighborhood and with any local missing children reports. Nothing turned up, and Polly did not hear from the police again. However, she did say she found some footprints circling her house for months afterwards. She found evidence of a makeshift bed in her gardening shed. My little calaveras, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, all the good things. And let me know what you thought of the story down in the comments below. I'd like to hear your opinions. For me, I always find black-eyed children stories very interesting because it all kind of has like that same eerie feeling to it, and it's always that moment of shock when they finally realize that their eyes are completely black. Luckily, I've never had an experience, and I hope never to. I hope my animals are a deterrent, but who knows. I'm curious if any of you have any experiences with that. And if you want, in my description, I do have my email linked if you would like to submit a story, as well as my socials if you want to catch up whenever I upload or anything like that. I do post when I'm going to upload, usually hinting to what kind of story I'm going to post, as well as just random things. So if you want to follow me there, don't forget. But I am starting to ramble, so I am going to go. And remember, my little calaveras, don't let anyone or anything steal your light. Check under your bed at night. And until next time, bye.